school can change a community. A scholarship can change a student's future. A job opportunity can transform an entire family. But can these achievements alone tell us whether a legislator is truly performing the job citizens elected him to do? That question is now echoing across Owerri West local government area and beyond, following the publication of a legislative scorecard by Honorable Kanayo Onyemaechi, the member representing Owerri West State Constituency in the Imo State House of Assembly. And while many residents and journalists have praised the opportunities and projects highlighted in the document, something deeper has emerged from the discussion. Not a debate about one politician, not a debate about one constituency, but a debate about democracy itself. Because before citizens can judge a legislator, they must first understand what a legislator is actually elected to do. The recently published scorecard showcases several achievements attributed to the lawmaker: employment opportunities, admission to higher institutions, community development projects, solar installations, road interventions, market improvements. Initiatives that many residents can see and touch. For supporters, these accomplishments represent evidence of effective representation. For others, they raise another question. Where are the laws? Where are the oversight reports? Where are the legislative reforms? Where are the committee findings? The discussion has now moved beyond projects and entered the territory of constitutional responsibility. And that is where this story becomes important. One of the most misunderstood aspects of Nigerian democracy is the role of legislators. Across the country, many citizens evaluate lawmakers using the same standards they use for governors, commissioners, local government chairmen, and ministers. If roads are constructed, they applaud. If jobs are secured, they celebrate. If solar lights appear, they assume effective representation. And there is nothing wrong with appreciating visible development, be it attracted or sponsored. The problem is that development projects alone do not tell the full story. In constitutional democracies, legislators exist for a different reason. Their primary role is not to execute projects. Their primary role is to make laws, oversee government activities, and represent the interest of the citizens. This distinction may seem technical, but it changes everything. Because when citizens focus exclusively on projects, they may overlook whether public funds are being properly monitored. They may ignore whether bad policies are being challenged. They may never ask whether important laws are being passed. And when those questions disappear, accountability becomes weaker. The conversation in Owerri West is therefore larger than one scorecard. It is a conversation about what democracy rewards. Let us examine what an ideal legislative scorecard should contain. First comes lawmaking, and this is the foundation of legislative responsibility. Citizens should ask, how many bills did the legislator sponsor? How many became law? What specific problems do those laws solve? Did those laws improve education, healthcare, infrastructure, economic opportunities, public safety? Laws often outlive political careers. A road may deteriorate. A borehole may break down, but a good law can shape generations. Second comes oversight, perhaps the most important, yet least celebrated legislative function. Oversight means examining government spending, inspecting projects, questioning agencies, demanding accountability, identifying wastes, exposing inefficiency, protecting taxpayers. A legislator who saves billions of naira through effective oversight may deliver more public value than a legislator who facilitates dozens of projects. Yet, oversight rarely receives public attention. Why? Because accountability is less visible than concrete. Third comes representation, and this means listening to constituents, holding town hall meetings, representing community concerns, advocating for citizens, serving as the bridge between government and the people. Without representation, democracy becomes distant. Without accountability, democracy becomes weak. Without lawmaking, democracy loses direction. For ordinary residents, this debate is not merely academic. Imagine a young graduate searching for employment. A facilitated job opportunity changes everything for him. Imagine a student struggling to secure admission. An intervention can alter an entire future. Imagine a community without electricity. Solar infrastructure brings immediate relief. These achievements matter, and citizens are right to appreciate them. But now, imagine a poorly monitored government project worth hundreds of millions of naira. Imagine a weak law that affects education across an entire state. Imagine wasteful spending that could have funded hospitals, schools, and roads. These issues affect thousands and sometimes millions. The challenge for citizens is balancing immediate benefits against long-term governance outcomes. Projects improve lives today. Laws shape lives tomorrow. And democracy requires both. This discussion is not unique to Owerri West. Across Nigeria, many legislative scorecards emphasize empowerment programs and constituency projects. Political culture has evolved around facilitation. Citizens often expect lawmakers to function as project managers, and lawmakers respond accordingly. The result is a cycle. Politicians emphasize visible achievements. Citizens reward visible achievements. Constitutional responsibilities receive less public attention, but globally, mature democracies often assess legislators differently. They track voting records, bills sponsored, committee performance, attendance, oversight activities, transparency, public engagement. The question is not whether projects matter. The question is whether projects should dominate the assessment. And increasingly, governance experts argue they should not. Of course, there is another side to this debate. Supporters of project-focused scorecards argue that citizens care about results, not constitutional theories, not legislative procedures, not committee reports. They care about jobs, roads, water, electricity. And there is merit in that argument. People judge government through lived experience. However, the counterpoint is equally important. If lawmakers are evaluated only by projects, who evaluates their legislative performance? Who measures accountability? Who tracks oversight? Who monitors attendance? Who assesses policy contributions? The answer cannot be nobody. A functioning democracy requires citizens to ask both sets of questions, not one or the other, but both. The publication of the Owerri West Legislative Scorecard may ultimately achieve something valuable. It may encourage more public scrutiny, more citizen engagement, more informed political conversations. Best case scenario, future scorecards become more comprehensive. They include bills, committee work, oversight findings, legislative reforms, constituency engagement, development facilitation, everything. Worst case scenario, citizens continue focusing only on projects while overlooking constitutional performance. The likely outcome lies somewhere in between. But one thing is already clear. The conversation has begun, and once citizens start asking questions, democracy becomes stronger. In the end, this story is not really about Honorable Kanayo Onyemaechi, nor is it solely about Owerri West. It is about how citizens measure leadership. A scholarship can change one life. A job can change one family. A project can change one community. But a law can change an entire generation. That is why the real legislative scorecard cannot be limited to appointments, attracting projects, or empowerment programs alone. It must also include lawmaking, oversight, representation, transparency, accountability, because democracy works best when citizens understand not only what their leaders have done, but what their leaders were elected to do. And perhaps that is the most important lesson emerging from this debate. Not whether one scorecard is right or wrong, but whether Nigerians are asking the right questions. What do you think? Should legislators be judged mainly by projects and empowerment programs? Or should lawmaking and oversight carry greater weight? Has Nigeria been measuring legislative performance the wrong way? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you find this analysis valuable, like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to DSG Herald News and DSG Radio for more in-depth analysis that goes beyond the headlines. Thank you.